For the longest time, retail has basically been a high-stakes guessing game. But what if it didn't have to be? Today, artificial intelligence is totally rewriting the rules, turning those old hunches into hard data. And this isn't some niche experiment anymore, it's an absolutely essential tool for survival. So let's break down how AI is completely changing the way stores operate, and at the end of the day, how you and I shop.
At its heart, AI is solving one of retail's oldest, most frustrating problems. The traditional way of doing things, just looking at last year's sales, was kind of like driving while only looking in the rearview mirror. You'd end up with warehouses full of stuff nobody wanted, or worse, empty shelves where the hottest new product was supposed to be. AI-powered retail, though, that's like having a GPS with live traffic updates. It's all about precision and efficiency.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll dig into that old forecasting problem. Then we'll see how AI predicts what you're going to buy and really gets to know you as a customer. After that, we'll get real about the challenges of making this stuff work. And finally, we'll peek into retail's very proactive future.
Okay, so let's set the scene. For generations, retailers have been stuck in this painful loop of having way too much of one thing and not nearly enough of another.
Just think about how basic the old toolkit was. Retailers were leaning almost completely on last year's sales numbers and really broad seasonal trends. Sure, they knew they'd sell more winter coats in, winter, but they had no way of knowing about a sudden heat wave in October or a new fashion trend that just blew up on social media. All of that guesswork, it led to some really expensive mistakes.
And boom, this is where AI just completely changes the game. It's not about doing the old math faster. It's about seeing a much, much bigger picture.
And the sheer scale here is kind of hard to wrap your head around. AI systems can digest and analyze dozens, sometimes hundreds of different variables all at once. That's a feat that's just physically impossible for a human analyst staring at a spreadsheet. These systems are built to find the hidden patterns buried in all that data noise.
So what kind of data are we actually talking about here? Well, it's way more than just sales history. We're talking about weather forecasts, what people are saying on social media, what competitors are charging, even local stuff like a big festival or concert happening in town. Every single piece is a signal, and when you put them all together, you get a forecast that's not just looking back, but actively looking forward.
And this is where it gets really granular and, honestly, pretty cool. The AI won't just tell you that a warm fall means fewer heavy coat sales. It might find a hidden connection, showing that it also causes a spike in demand for, say, beige-colored lightweight jackets. That is a super specific, actionable insight you would never, ever get from just looking at last year's reports. The impact on the bottom line from this kind of precision is just staggering. We're seeing retailers cut the amount of cash they have tied up in inventory by up to 25%, and at the same time, the chance that a product is actually on the shelf when you want it goes up by over 10%. So they're spending less on stuff just sitting in a warehouse, and they're selling more of what people actually want to buy. It's a win-win.
And having both of those benefits at once creates a massive competitive advantage. You got to remember, in the retail world, margins can be razor thin. So this level of efficiency isn't just a nice little bonus, it can literally be the difference between staying in business or closing up shop.
Okay, so that's the stockroom side of things, but let's flip over to the other side of the coin. AI isn't just optimizing inventory, it's totally revolutionizing the customer experience by shifting from broad groups of people down to you, the individual.
This brings us to a huge concept, personalization at scale. And forget just putting your first name in a marketing email. We're talking about creating a totally unique shopping journey for every single person, one that changes in real time based on what you're doing, what you like, and what you might need in that exact moment.
So how on earth does it do this? Well, it builds an incredibly detailed profile using countless little data points. It looks at what you browse but don't buy, your purchase history, how much a price change affects your decision, even what time of day you tend to shop. All these little puzzle pieces come together to create a unique digital fingerprint for every customer.
And here's where the rubber meets the road. Let's say the AI notices you frequently buy organic produce. It might start showing you other eco-friendly products. Or, if it knows you're always looking for a good deal, it'll ping you the second an item on your wish list goes on sale. It can even figure out that you browse on your phone during the day, but only actually buy on your laptop at night, and then change its marketing to match that pattern.
Now, the really smart retailers are combining these two AI superpowers. They're using personalization data to make their inventory forecasts even more accurate, and they're using those forecasts to drive personalization. Like, for example, creating dynamic prices that change based on current demand and stock levels. It's a genius feedback loop.
Okay, so this all sounds incredible, right? Almost like magic. But let's get real for a second. Making all this work isn't as simple as just flipping a switch. There are some pretty significant hurdles to get over.
You're basically looking at three major challenges. First up is data quality. The old saying, garbage in, garbage out, is especially true for AI. Then you've got massive privacy concerns. With regulations like GDPR, you have to be so careful to balance personalization with data protection. And finally, and maybe most importantly, you have the human element.
And let's be crystal clear on this point. The goal here is not to replace human experts. The retailers who are winning with AI are the ones who use it as a tool to augment what their people can do. You still need smart, experienced humans to look at the data, make the tough strategic calls, and handle all the complicated situations that an algorithm just can't understand.
So, with all of that in mind, where's this all going? Well, the next giant leap is all about moving from just reacting to what customers do to actually anticipating what they need.
We're already seeing the next wave start to form. AI is analyzing customer service chats to spot emerging trends before they're even trends. It's using cameras in stores, computer vision, to understand how people walk through a store and interact with products. And the end game for all of this? To become truly proactive.
Because the really big shift, the true revolution that's underway right now, means that the future of retail isn't just about being a faster, smarter reactor.
It's about being proactive. It's about knowing what customers need and what they're going to like, sometimes even before they fully realized it themselves.
So all of this leaves us with a fascinating and maybe a little bit unsettling question to ponder. The next time you go shopping, think about this. What if the store knew what you needed before you did?